Now, if there's a rule to be broken with weight loss, I think I've pretty much figured out how to break them all because, yeah, they tell you not to eat food right before bed. I eat all of my meals right before bed. Hey guys, it's Big John here in Anchorage, Alaska. I believe on February 2nd was the day that I was experiencing some incredible pizza cravings, and I was actually thinking about like ordering Papa John's or Milano's pizza or some sort of regular pizza from here in town. So I did a live stream where I made a carnivore crust pizza. And while I was doing the live stream, I was dressed pretty close to this, and I did get on the scale, and I was about, let's see, 266.6 pounds, I believe. Since then, I've been not exactly the best at my diet, but I have been doing a 90-10 eating principle. 10% I love my life. I do an OMAD type diet, and once in a while I do get a little bit off the rails. Now with that said, I do an approximate feeding window of about 2 hours, sometimes 3 hours maximum. And then I just take a shower, wind down, watch a movie, and then I go to bed. But since I wasn't being the perfect carnivore, and I was getting a little bit into the junk, sometimes I might have had a bowl of cereal with my wife, a little bit of chocolate, some cookies came into the mix. Once in a while, some bananas, some strawberries, some blueberries. And on Wednesday, I wanted to see exactly how much damage I was doing, or was I doing any damage at all. So I got up early Wednesday morning just to see what was going on, and I was very surprised. 264.5 pounds was my weight in midweek, which is quite a surprise because I wasn't being a good boy at all. Now throughout my week I was experimenting with chuck roll. Now chuck roll is an extremely affordable way of doing the carnivore diet, and it's something that I really never even thought of. Now the first experience I had with a chuck roll, I mean, this thing is huge, giant. It's like 32 something pounds of meat, and it's just got different muscle structures everywhere. I didn't know what the heck to do with it even when I saw it. Other people that have gotten chuck roll themselves procrastinate for days, sometimes weeks after purchasing one, just like I did. And I was just like, I don't know what to do with this. They don't know what to do with this. So I just broke it down the best way possible, made it into steaks, and we've been eating it pretty much all week in the air fryer. Now the surprising thing about chuck roll, not only is it affordable, but it makes some really, really good air fryer steaks.
This is absolutely delicious. We got a chuck roll steak, we got our Alaska reindeer sausage cooked in the air fryer. I cooked up 3 eggs over easy, and then before I flipped it, I just put a handful of mozzarella cheese on top of it, and then when I flipped it over, it made this beautiful golden brown color. Just absolutely awesome. I got my favorite kitty over there begging for a little bitty fat bite.
Sure, you got a little bit of tough spots in there. You got some tendons. You got a lot of random fat pockets in there. But it all seems to work out pretty well on a budget. Now here in Anchorage, Alaska, this chuck roll costs us approximately $5.99 a pound, which isn't bad considering the price of ribeye is on average from $9.99 a pound up to $12.99 a pound. And we can get twice as much chuck roll that we can get compared to ribeye steaks. But on average, this is basically what I do here is a chuck roll steak, an Alaska reindeer sausage, and sometimes I do some sort of an experiment with eggs, and this experiment with eggs came out quite nice. So I basically just cracked 3 eggs in a pan, I let them cook down for a little while, and once I got the bottom pretty well cooked and just before flipping, I threw a handful of mozzarella cheese on top. Again, I've been having pizza cravings, so I figured the mozzarella cheese was going to help me a little bit satiate that pizza craving and get me over that hump so I could just keep on going with life and hopefully lose some weight this week. But once I flipped that over, and then I just carefully kind of rolled it up into a unprofessional looking omelet. It came out looking beautiful, just like this here, golden brown. It was a little bit difficult to cut, but it was pretty fab. Now I have been experiencing some times where I've been having soda cravings, which is really odd because I've been off of soda for several years now. Now soda was a problem back in my early trucking days, and we'll get a little bit more into that later and why trucking and my lifestyle in trucking has a lot to do with this weight loss journey. But one of the products I've been using I found at Costco, and it's just simple soda water. It's got nothing in it. It helps, for some reason, the bubbles and the carbonation in the water just helps satiate me in a way where I don't want to have a soda. It just gives me that mental stimulation, like you had something unhealthy, but you really didn't. Now let's get on into this week's weight loss, if I had any at all. But I got up on Saturday morning, and sorry I procrastinated, didn't feel like filming that morning, but I was just having a lazy day. I had all my cats just about. I think I was missing one this morning. But yeah, let's get this scale set up and see what we got going on here. Because I I'm quite curious myself to see, did I lose any weight, not being the perfect carnivore in the world? All right, we got 263.3 pounds. That's an approximate 3-pound weight loss for the week, and I wasn't even doing things perfectly. So, I mean, how is that possible that I can be kind of on and off the rails of the carnivore diet and still get a lot of weight loss? I don't exercise. I'm a truck driver. I simply get in and out of a truck once in a while, open and close container doors, get back in the truck, just drop the trailer in a drop yard and turn around and do it again. It's literally that simple. That's my life. I don't try to overcomplicate things. I don't go exercise. I don't pay for gym memberships. I don't even buy a lot of health products. Now, in my opinion, we don't need to buy a gym membership. For one, we got busy lives. We're working all the time. We can't always get to the gym. If the gym's a lifestyle, it's a good thing for you. Absolutely keep it up. Get as much exercise as possible. Walking is incredibly important, but if you're not healthy to walk, like I was when I first got started on my weight loss journey at 435 pounds, calm down. Don't do a whole lot of walking. Start losing some of that fat. Start getting the visceral fat off the belly, and then things will slowly start to improve and you'll be able to move more naturally without having injury. Because that was my biggest problem when I started all of this, is I kept injuring myself every time I tried to do the whole eat less, move more stuff. That didn't work out well for me. For one, I was a miserable cow all the time because I wasn't eating much and I was getting out and trying to do exercises and wind up hurting myself as a result. So in order to figure out how to lose weight with a 90-10 eating principle and 10% I love my life, which is whatever, I don't care what you eat for that 10%. It just simply works, and it works well, especially if you do it carnivore diet heavy plan. So if you're eating mainly 90% meats and fats, 10% whatever you want in the entire kitchen, whatever's in your fridge, freezer, pantry, who cares? But if you do that with an OMAD lifestyle in about approximately a 2 to 3 hour feeding window, this does tend to provide you some additional fat loss for the week. Now, when you're excessively morbidly obese, like 300, 350 pounds, 400 pounds and up, you tend to lose a lot more water weight than you do anything else, especially at the get-go. The fat takes a while to start to get off. And the fat right here on my stomach has been providing me a very unique situation that I've been having a problem with for like the last 7 months. So when I sit back and I look down at my body, I am noticeably smaller. But the thing is when you look down at yourself like this, sometimes you look at yourself in the mirror, you get this dysphoria type situation that goes on, you know, because it takes us a while to recognize that we actually lost some weight. I mean, you can have tons of people tell you, oh, wow, you look great. You look so much skinnier. Your skin is so much clearer, which it is. But when we look at ourselves, we tend not to see ourselves quite clearly. You know, for one, I lost approximately 160 pounds in the last 2 years. I mean, we're coming close to 2 years in May of 2025. That'll be my 2-year weight loss anniversary. And I'm hoping I can get down to 235 pounds by that point. And if not, it doesn't matter. I've already come so far. I'm just going to keep plugging away with what I already know. And that's another important aspect to weight loss, is set realistic goals. If you don't meet them, just keep going. Now, when I first started all this, you know, I was an average truck driver. I first started gaining obesity around age 25. That's when I started noticing the little pooch here on my belly. Years later, I did tend to like start gaining more weight and more weight. You know, as a commercial truck driver, I was driving all over the lower 48 states, but primarily it was dry van related freight, which is just get out, open the doors, get back in the truck, drive long distances, go to sleep, wake up, eat food. And that was a lot of the problem. There was little to no activity when doing that type of stuff. And then as time went on, I got hit about 35 years old and I started getting even heavier. That's when I hit the morbidly obese range, and I just couldn't figure out what to do. So at some point I did start to give up, but throughout that whole process, I managed to give up soda pop, and I thought soda pop was the worst thing I was doing. But to my demise, it was a whole lot more. So as the years went on, I hit 45. Now I'm 50 years old. But yeah, when I was 48, 49 years old, that's when I got to the heaviest point in my entire life, which was 435 pounds. And that's just a guesstimated number because I never got an official weight when I first got started. It's something I wish I could have, you know, went back and then tried to do again. And another thing I think I would have done before I started this weight loss journey is just simply got better photos of when I was my largest. But all throughout my trucking career, I used to look around when I was trying to learn new things, like learning how to tie down flatbeds. I would look around and see who the fattest guy was on the job, because the fattest guy has been doing it longer, and he also knows the easiest way to do things. So I quickly found this guy. He looked like Santa Claus. He taught me everything I knew about, even up to this date, about tying down flatbed loads, tying down heavy machinery, the easiest possible way to do it from the ground without having to hop up and down off a 4-foot high flatbed. And it just worked. So eventually in time, I just started to become lazier and lazier and lazier. So with that in mind, I wanted to take that same basic principle and I wanted to apply it to weight loss. And that is exactly how I became the laziest fat man on the internet to consistently keep losing weight just by using some basic eating principles. Because I knew for a fact that all these health coaches, all these doctors can only tell you so much in a 15-minute visit. And also these health coaches, they definitely want your money. So they're only going to tell you so much just so you keep coming back. Not only that, they're going to try to tell you to go out and buy all these specific products, specific vitamins. They're not cheap. They're about $90 a bottle. I mean, this stuff adds up really quickly. We all know we order from Amazon. That bill gets big pretty quick. And yes, I do have some products coming from Amazon I do want to talk about here shortly, but they're going to take a while because I live in Alaska. But since I took that basic mindset, applied it towards a 90-10 eating principle, an OMAD type diet with about a 2-hour feeding window, it just really works. It works quickly. I don't have to just struggle throughout life without eating food. I figured out which foods to eat. Some foods are safer than others, and once in a while I can go a little bit crazy. Weight loss should be enjoyable, and a lot of these health coaches, they try to teach us, you can have a little bit of carbohydrates, you can have a little bit of sugar at times. Well, that tends to cascade into further problems because you eat too much sugar, then you feel bad, you don't return to your gym, you don't go to your health coach because now you're noticing yourself getting morbidly obese again, and it just perpetuates that entire roller coaster, which I try to avoid. Instead of doing the roller coaster diet, let's focus on 90% meats and fats, 10% love our life. So now, along with that 10% I love my life, I tend to do like 5-day strategies. The 5-day strategy really works. So most of us work Monday through Friday. That's just simple as it gets. Now, the only way this gets overly complicated is if you're working a part-time job, they're only working you a couple days here, you get a day off, and then a couple days here. But if on our work days, our specific work days, we focus only on what we're doing. So Monday through Friday, I focus on an OMAD type lifestyle. I get up, get ready to go to work. I only pack my electrolytes and some drinking water, take some vitamins first thing in the morning, then I'm out the door. I don't eat anything or consume anything of calories for the entirety of the day. I come home at the end of the day, and that's when I eat my meals. Now, if there's a rule to be broken with weight loss, I think I've pretty much figured out how to break them all because, yeah, they tell you not to eat food right before bed. I eat all of my meals right before bed, and I lose weight. So just remember, just because you were taught something specific long time ago, especially when we were kids, it's not necessarily true. Because even with truck driving, we got plenty of rules to follow, and I've broken the majority of those rules, even gravity at times. So why not just apply those same principles to our weight loss and our health? But the reason I do an OMAD type lifestyle is because I live a pretty sedentary lifestyle. I do a lot of sitting here at the table. I'm not getting up, I'm not exercising, I'm not moving around except for doing basic household type tasks. Now when I go to work, I'm sitting behind a driver's seat. I'm just driving around. Yeah, sure, I get in and out of the truck. I drop and hook trailers and open trailer doors from time to time. But about 85% of that day is seriously just sitting behind the driver's seat. And one thing I have noticed with fasting practices is we don't require all that excessive food. We don't require breakfast. We don't need snacks. We don't need lunch. We don't need afternoon snacks. That's just something that was pre-programmed into our lifestyle at a very young age. Now, at some point, I was told when I get down to my goal weight of 235 pounds, I might actually have to start eating more meals a day just to maintain that type of weight loss or just to be fully satiated and happy. So the plan at that point might actually change. So I might not have to do OMAD lifestyle for this entire time, for the rest of my time on the planet. And I don't care if I do or don't, but I might actually start adding in things like breakfast in the morning or a casual type lunch. Now that's the other thing. These meals, breakfast and lunch, are not dinner time. That is not when you're supposed to fill up on a whole bunch of stuff. That's just to give you enough energy to get through, if you're physically active, to get to lunchtime. And then lunch is just enough to get you through until dinner time and so forth. Now, one thing I noticed throughout my truck driving career is that when we first started trucking back in 1996, early 2000s, our dinner plates were like this big. Now they're the size of a frickin' steering wheel. I don't know why they got so big. I don't know why food is getting so expensive because we don't require all that extra food. And many years ago, these truck stops really did care about truck drivers' health. But as time went on and we got more truck drivers on the road that wanted just really, really unhealthy food, they had to start selling foods that were just cheaper, quicker to sell, quicker to cook, and also not necessarily healthy for us because they're out there trying to turn a profit. And that's where a lot of these dietary supplements start to become a problem. For one, incredibly expensive. Two, they're not necessarily what they seem on the package. That's another problem. But the key factor here is they want your money, and a lot of it. So how about instead of buying products, we actually buy healthy food that requires us not to buy products? Because for some reason, many years ago, we got into this lifestyle of we need something to basically take as a pill and just wish away all of our problems. Now, that's why a lot of us started going to the doctor in the first place. We realized we were extremely unhealthy. We went to the doctor's office and we thought, oh, let's just ask the doctor and the doctor will fix it all. And then we start getting mad at the doctors because our problems never get any better because we never focused on the root cause of the problem, and that's our nutrition. Because most of these cancers and random sicknesses like the flu and the COVID plague and all that stuff, that can be easily dealt with if we focus on nutrition. Because since I've been eating a 90-10 eating principle, carnivore heavy of course, I have not had a single sick day. And I've talked to many other people out there that are doing a similar type lifestyle and they're feeling the same way. You know, whenever flu season, cold season comes around, we're not worried about getting sick. I used to fear my children because I get sick all the time, every time I got near them. And that created a mental type issue because after a while I started viewing my children as germs instead of my children. That's sad. But if you could just do me a brief favor by hitting the like button on this video, it does help us push our videos out there a little bit further, and it does spread the awareness of losing weight with little to no exercise can be extremely possible for those who need it most. Be sure to leave me a comment down below if this video helped you at all, or if you have any thoughts, comments, concerns, or questions. I'd be more than happy to answer them all. We do have a P.O. box attached to the channel if you want to look at our description section or maybe send us a postcard. We'd always appreciate one of those. We do have a pretty small collection, but it's a collection. And if you find these topics interesting or useful, be sure to subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell for our next upload. And as always, guys, just love your life. But alright guys, let me know down in the comments below. But alright guys, let me know in the comments down below